Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen Oling, share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started. So today I'm going to share with you the one thing that you can do to be less stressed, to get way more shit done in less time, and to just be overall happier. And no, it's not the best planner, color coding your calendar on your iPhone, having the best pens to write with, having the most aesthetic workplace. It's none of that. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. Thank you so much for being here. This topic is so damn juicy today because I'm noticing that it is coming up so often in my private one-on-one coaching practice, and it gets brought up often at the Permission Slip retreats, which little side plug here. The tickets for the next Permission Slip retreat are going to be released on January 22nd, 22. And that next retreat is going to be in Miami Beach. And it is going to be so much magic. So June 12th through the 15th, it's all inclusive and it's super exclusive. So if you want to be the first to know when these tickets drop, because believe me, there's only 11 and they're going to sell out in the first week. If you want to be the first to know and have access to an exclusive discounts, it's in the show notes. Hop over there at carmenoling.com or just scroll up right now on your iPhone if that's where you're listening. Click that link, send me your email address. And so when the tickets drop, you will be the first to know, and you'll have access for the first 3 days with an exclusive discount that nobody else gets. So get your booty on that list. You want to be at this retreat. My team and I have been planning so many magical experiences. I can't talk about it anymore because we need to get back to the topic at hand, which is that one thing that you can do to be less stressed, to get way more shit done in less time, and to just be overall happier in your life. And no, it's not buying the next best planner or color coding your calendar or having the best pens or maybe the most aesthetic workspace. It's none of that. And what I'm talking about is this one idea of focus. Now, when I say that word, what are you feeling inside? I know that I used to pride myself on being the world's best multitasker, and I would actually look down on other people for not being able to do like multiple things at one time. And we're going to talk about that and how that thought is false. It has been proven time and time again through research that multitasking is not an effective way to get things done. In addition, it doesn't make you feel good. And if you listen to this podcast for any amount of time, you know that my goal and the goal that I would love for you to have in your life is to focus on you feeling good every single freaking day. So let's talk about first, and then I'm going to share 5 tips for you to get started to be a little bit more focused. And if you're thinking, I'm going to shut this off because I'm already focused, I want you to stop right there. Anytime you hear someone say like, this is the one thing, this is super important, you might want to tune in, and you might want to tune in with open eyes, open heart, open ears, open mind, and just see what you can discover. Because I know for a fact that there is going to be at least one thing that I drop for you in this podcast. And realistically, this is like 20 minutes of your day. It could be on your walk. That's why I keep these podcasts short, because I know you're going to have a takeaway. And if you implement it, it is going to change your life. Okay, so let's start with, what is the alternative to focus? The alternative to focus is what so many people do. And I know I have been a culprit of this. And at times when I'm not being self-aware enough, or if I'm really trying to like push myself to that next level or try something new and I'm getting into that uncomfortable space, my ego comes back in. It's no longer my highest self. And I'm doing a whole lot of everything, jumping from one task to the next without getting a whole lot done. You start with 5 things you're going to do for the day and you do half of 2. The next day, you still have 5 fucking things. You don't have any less to do. So most people who are not focused end up spending their time doing anything but the most important work that's actually going to move the needle. I mean, think about it. What is that one thing that if you tackled it, if you completed that project, if you had that conversation, if you did that thing, if you sent that email, if you made that phone call, that things would change for you, things would start moving. But we're often being distracted with things like urgency, making everything urgent. Newsflash, everything is not urgent. Our environment. And that can be people, that can be noises, that could be music, that could be physical clutter. Other things that distract us are life's challenges, like our relationships and our health. Other people's priorities distract us. We're often distracted by whatever feels the easiest or whatever makes us feel the busiest. We'll do those things and not that one thing that we know that we should be doing. And then there's so many people and things that are trying to get our attention every day. I mean, every second of every day, everywhere we look, there's something that wants our attention. So it's more and more critically important to learn to shut all that off and to get focused. And really the benefits of being focused are you're quicker. You're going to produce higher quality results. You're less stressed. You're able to tap in to your higher self, to that sense of flow and freedom and alignment. You know what I'm talking about? When you're just getting shit done and you're not even thinking about time, you're losing track of time and it feels so good. And when you're done, you just feel so productive. You feel so good. You feel so proud of yourself. Focus allows that. Only focus allows that. Think about it. You're not distracted during those times. And you feel so damn good. Again, that's the goal every day. Focus allows you to feel good every day. And overall, you're just so much fucking happier because being unfocused helps build overwhelm, stress, anxiety, self-criticism. I know self-criticism is something that, and judgment and comparison is definitely something that I am just ready to let go of forever for the rest of my life. If you'd like to sign up for that too, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I want to hear from you. So let me tell you the definition. So when I looked up the definition of focus, here's what it says. Ability to keep your awareness on one thing for an extended amount of time. So the ability to keep your awareness on one thing for an extended amount of time. So let's jump into my 5 tips. Actually, before I do that, I want you to start getting really self-aware. So throughout the day today and tomorrow, I want you to see what is distracting you. What is allowing you to get distracted, to not be committed, to not go all in? Because oftentimes we say we're going to do something, but then it's conditional based on these outside things that are happening, other people's sense of urgencies, putting other people's priorities before ours, our environment. All of these things make our commitments that we're giving to ourselves, we make them conditional. And what if we commit to ourselves today that we're no longer going to make them conditional? There's that saying that you want to starve your distractions and to feed your focus. That's what we want to do. So I want you to get really self-aware. And when I say get self-aware, that doesn't mean I want you to judge yourself, that you're doing it right or wrong, that you're such an unfocused person and things are bad. That's not what I'm saying. To get self-aware, here is what you need to do. You just need to be a witness of what's happening around you, how you're feeling and how you're acting, and then write it down. And then because you're a witness of it and not a judge, then you could be like, okay, in this circumstance, in this environment, this is my default. So what do I need to do? Do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to change my environment? You see where I'm going with this? So that today and tomorrow, I want you to just be a witness of what's happening and make a note of it. So let me get to step one. So let's say you followed my really amazing method, which is like brain dump and then planning your day based on energy, not time, because time is really irrelevant. It's all based on the energy and capacity that you have to do the things in your life and focusing on the things that matter to you. So let's say you're doing that. And you have one task that you're going to be doing during your prime working time, which everybody can figure out their prime working time. If you want to know more about my brain dump and delegation, asking for help, figuring out what's most important method, please do shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I would be happy to share that method with you. I know I've shared it on the podcast before. So before you start that task that you're going to work on, here's what I want you to do. I really want you to get into your body. So that means just not completely jumping from one thing to the next, because you're still going to be distracted. So what I want you to do is I just want you to try out box breathing. And box breathing is a simple technique, and we'll try it here on the pod. Like, we can do it together. I'll lead you through, but basically it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 times. So 4 seconds breathe in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds breathe out, 4 seconds hold, and you repeat that 4 times. So let's go ahead and try that a couple of times. So first, go ahead and just release all the air, blowing it all out. Sit comfortably and breathe in for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. So we repeated it twice, but you would do it 4 times, and just breathing in and counting to yourself and focus on your breath. That's going to get you out of your head, out of all the distractions, and back into your body, so we can start focusing and get into our higher selves, get into that flow state, get into that freedom, get into that losing track of time. So the first thing we do is we set ourselves up for success by getting out of that frantic mode and into a more calm, peaceful mode. The second thing that you can do is you can declutter your space. So this is something that I did for the new year, and it seems like just about like every quarter I've been doing this. So I go through my closet, which if you haven't known anything about me in the past like 5 years or so, is we used to live in Oregon, and my husband Joel and I, once the kids were out of the house, we sold our house, we sold all of our stuff, and we moved to Colorado. So we downsized from a 4-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom condo, and we just bought all brand new, other than my kitchen things, because cooking at home is important. And if you need some yummy recipes, search the hashtag on Instagram, Cook at Home with Carmen. I'll hook you up there. So many recipes there. So I started this process of living a more simpler life. We did. And then we moved from Colorado Springs, and I manifested my beach dream. And now we're in Miami Beach, and we're in a 1-bedroom, 2-bath condo. And so it's even smaller now. And I've really scaled down my clothes. So every quarter, and I did this previous to the new year, is I went through all my clothes, I reorganized them, I color coded them. And again, it's not about them being color coded, but it's about having less decisions to make during the day. Things, I can find things easily, I can grab it, it's easily accessible, I don't have to worry about it. I fit everything. I'm not saving things in case I gain weight. I'm not saving things in case I lose weight. It's clothes that I can wear today. That's it. And I did the same thing to my office. So my office and my desk is organized, my desk drawer is organized, my books are organized, my client notes are organized, and my online computer, my Dropbox is organized as fuck. The tools that I use with my clients, or my clients and my team is organized. So we use Airtable and Dropbox mainly for communications, and that is super organized. I'm up to date on all my work. So just decluttering physical space. So what does that help us do? Well, our brains are actually less effective at processing information, and like when there's clutter. Think about it. If you sit down and you're doing some work and you keep looking up and you're like, oh, I really need to organize that, it just pulls from your energy a little bit. It also leads to frustration and anxiety and overwhelm and not feeling good every day. So, my 2 tips once you get organized is to stay organized. And there's 2 options of how you can really easily do this. I like the first option. The first option is to do it right away. I used to be the type of person that I would take the laundry out and I would put it on the bed or wherever, and I'd say, okay, I'm going to do that later. But then I would start doing that with a lot of things. I'd put the dish in the sink, fill it up with water so it didn't get like all crusties on it. I'm going to do that later. I would put the mail on the counter. I'm going to go through that later. But then what just happened? Now I have 3 things in different areas of my home that I have to go back to later to do. That's going to take a lot of time. And those are all things that I don't really enjoy doing. However, what I choose to do now is put it away in the moment. Am I done working with a client? Do I have all their notes down? Can I put that away? Can I file it right away? Can I do the laundry right away? Do I do the dishes right away? I just get it all done in the moment, which usually only takes a couple of minutes, and then things are not building up. So that's option 1. Do it right away. So if you find that you're putting a lot of things off, try that out. I think that you'll really like that actually. But option 2 is set up a nighttime routine where you give yourself 10 to 15 minutes. If you have kids at home, this is something that you could implement with them to teach them resilience and independence and responsibility. And we're all going to do the nighttime routine for 10 to 15 minutes to put our things away where they belong, to fold the laundry, to do all the things. And so when we wake up the next day, we're not waking up into chaos. So that's number 2, declutter your physical space so your brain is not on overdrive and you can focus. Number 3, don't make everything urgent. So I want you right now, if you're somewhere where you can sit down, you can make a list, I would say not pull out your phone, but yeah, maybe pull out your notes on your phone, write it down in your beautiful planner that you bought or your color-coded calendar or whatever. What things are actually urgent? So you can think of it in your business or your career. You can think of it in your personal life. Write down things that would actually be urgent. A family member getting into an accident. That would be urgent. My website crashing when I am offering tickets for my next permission slip retreat in Miami, which tickets are going to drop on January 22nd, 12222. Another note for that, get on that list in the show notes. But those types of things are urgent. What is not urgent is your friend sending you a text message, someone emailing you and asking you something, someone leaving you a voicemail, someone calling you. But somehow, some way, we make all of these things urgent. I was working with one of my clients the other day and they're newly single. And so it's kind of fun. And I don't even know if Facebook has a dating app, but it's pretty cool. And we were talking about it. So one of the tips that I shared, because they were getting overwhelmed with like, there's so many people that I'm talking with and like, how do I decipher this? I want to make sure that I'm not spending too much time on it. And I said, here's the thing. We went through a list of what they would want, like in a partner. And one of the things is that they were at the same level of like a growth mindset and professional and that sort of thing. And so I said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to really look at the ones that you are interested in talking to. And I want you to send them a message. And I want you to tell them that, it's been so fun chatting with you so far. I do want to let you know that I have some other priorities that I'm working on in my life right now. So I'm only going to be checking my messages here about once a week. So I don't want you to think that I am ignoring you. But I just want to let you know that when I do check, I'm going to be really excited to chat with you and get back to you. Do you see the difference there? Or you could be putting pressure on yourself to respond right away. Not everything is going to be urgent. And in business, if you think you need to respond to an email right away, you don't. So let me ask you this question. If you send an email to someone, let's say at 11 a.m. on a Monday, and they respond back to you at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, which is just a day later, would you think that that's an appropriate amount of time? I know I do. I would think that that's actually a fast response. Within a day is a great response time. So don't make everything urgent. So first thing is try out the box breathing, get yourself into your body and out of your head, get into a focused, peaceful, calm state. Second thing is to declutter your space, your physical space, and to figure out how you're going to keep it that way by doing it right away or doing that nighttime routine that I talked about. Third thing is not to make everything urgent. The fourth thing is let's go ahead and start building up our concentration muscle by doing a concentration exercise every single day for 1 minute, and you could actually build up from there. So what I want you to do is just get something that's meaningful to you, or maybe like a pen or something that you have, whatever you have in front of you. I have like this heart-shaped rose quartz, and rose quartz is just so affirming to me right now. I'm really, really loving it. So what I want you to do with this rose quartz or your pen or whatever object you have in front of you, I want you to go ahead and I want you to just focus on only it. And then I'll tell you when to stop. So don't do anything else, but focus on your object. Okay, so you can come back now. We didn't do the full minute. We did about 30 seconds. But what was that like for you? Were you thinking, oh my gosh, when is this going to be over? I should turn off this podcast. I have all this to-do list to do. This is stupid. Or were you able to focus? So I'm sitting here and I'm recording this podcast, not only audio, but the video too. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you just search Carmen Olin, you can see that I was focusing on my rose quartz. And all I did was deep breathing while I was focusing on it. So this is something that you can do to, again, reset your nervous system from that constant fight or flight state to that stay in play state, to that rest and digest, to that focused, high vibe aligned state. Okay, now the last tip is going to be saying goodbye, just like I did. I was telling you about at the beginning of this episode, saying goodbye to multitasking. And we are going to accept with open arms monotasking. I had no idea what podcast I was listening to, but I heard this recently. So I did not make that up. That is not mine, but I heard it and loved it. So what is mono? It is a single thing. So we are monotasking now. Because guess what? Time after time after time after time, studies have shown that if you multitask, it reduces your productivity by over 40%. Seriously, that's huge. I always say, if you can cultivate this skill, and again, it's going to be a work in progress. I know sometimes for me, especially if I have outside things going on, those distractions, and I don't sit and get in my body with box breathing, or maybe that focused concentration for a minute exercise, I'm still distracted and I still have to consciously work to be focused. But if you can be focused and you can cultivate this, I promise you, you'll be able to do the same amount of work, if not more, in half the time. Half the fucking time. I know because I do it. It works. But you have to be committed. No more conditional commitment. You have to be able to go all in. And so multitasking, things that will help you with this, turn off all notifications on your computer, on your cell phone, on your tablet. Close an internet browser. Maybe if you're working in a document or in a program that you don't need that and you just have that one thing. Focus on that one thing, your mono task, and do it until completion. If it's something that's going to take you a few hours, again, like my brain dump and focused energy is figuring out like the method that I use for that. If you want more on that, again, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll be happy to share that with you. But one of the key parts of that is figuring out how long you can best work and during what time of the day. And so what you can do with this monotask idea, if you do have a task that's going to take you longer than your normal effective working time that you can sit and do one thing for, it is taking a 5-minute break and coming back to it. And I highly, highly recommend moving your body and drinking some water during that 5-minute break and then working for another time block. Usually mine is about an hour and a half, sometimes to 2 hours if I'm super high vibe and aligned and in flow. And for everybody, it's just a little bit different. So this episode was so juicy. I can't wait to hear what your biggest takeaway was. So please tag me on your Instagram stories. I want to hear at Carmen Oling. You can also tag the new Instagram that I have for all things Permission Slip. So the Permission Slip podcast, the Permission Slip retreat, the Permission Slip holistic collective is my monthly membership. And so on Instagram, you can find that at Permission Slip Community. So I want to hear your biggest takeaway and start today by being self-aware. Again, just being a witness, not a judge of where you're at with focus, and then start implementing these tips that I gave you. And I will be back next week with some more specific things and benefits about focus that are going to help you even more in your life. So thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful. If it's been a minute since you've been in iTunes and done a rating and review, it would mean the world to me if you would do that. So please do that now, because remember about like doing it now or putting it off, you probably don't get it done and then it builds up, gives you anxiety. So click it, do it now. I am grateful and let's be fucking focused this week. Talk to you next week.